and welcome Amishi Gupta presenting a speech about speech.
Hello, welcome to your very important job interview. Talk to me as charismatically and as unawkwardly as you possibly can, because in order to get opportunities, you have to be likable. Sorry for startling you, but it is true. For uncharismatic people like you and I, how do we survive in this social world? There's job interviews, happy hour, the students' dreaded turn and talk, family time, and meeting any new person all includes you having to move your mouth in a manner that interests the other person. And how? It's as Surrounded by Idiots author Thomas Erickson says, communication happens on the listener's terms. Your words are filtered so much through the listener's perspective, context, biases, and perceptions of you that your words just might be as filtered as an Instagram model. In light of this, let's propose a universal rule. In order to build deep connections with everyone, you must first learn how to communicate effectively and authentically, and most importantly, in the unique language of our listener. Now, here's a big question. How do we communicate in the unique language of our listener? Okay, let's astral project for a second and inspect the other end of the conversation. Are they important people, children, or your 5th period ELA teacher? That's the language you speak in. So the first step is to be mindful. Take you as the listener right now. From the number of adults here and the number of teenagers here, there is a 60% chance you are an adult and a 40% chance you are a teenager. Now, 60% is a considerable percentage, meaning I cannot use my favorite brain-rotted slang words. However, the number of teenagers indicate I cannot use my favorite overly verbose, loquacious, and convoluted prose with more syllables than the amount of times I've stuttered over this part, because nobody in my generation is following all that. Through this, I write my speech with a healthy mix of both to appeal to all age groups within my audience. Just furthermore, I'm sure we both recognize that talking to a friend versus talking to an authority figure is wildly different. Why? Well, we both know you want them to see a different version of you. Just as I speak to different groups within my audience, the same you must do, as the audience holds a large variable in how you speak or the words you use. Orchestrating yourself to communicate different things is essential for your message. Know the person on the other side of you, so they know you too. Now, here's another big question. Knowing what words to say may be the easier part, but how do we say it? This is the part where we pay attention. Across the board, my classmates' favorite teachers were always teachers who A, treat students as humans, and B, share themselves with the students. And as you might have guessed, those students felt just as comfortable talking to those teachers. It wasn't the coolest teachers, nor the most educated teachers, just the teachers that acted human. Acting human is showing the other side that, yes, I have a life. Yes, I make mistakes. Yes, I'm like you. The thing is, when you put yourself so high on a pedestal, nobody down below can hear you. This is why vulnerability, far more than humility, is so powerful in this aspect. For example, during debates, in crossfires where you ask the opposition questions on their argument, a common practice is to look to the judge or the camera while you are technically speaking to the person adjacent from you. With the other speaker, you're turned away from them, distanced, cold, impervious. You don't want them to see your vulnerability. However, with the judge, you're indirectly communicating to them with responses that match their flow and intentional facial expressions that scream, "Get a load of this guy." You're not all high up and closed up like, "Look at me, I'm so cool with my cold hard logic," like you are with the other guy. 25% of debate is theatrics, and this is why. This minuscule behavior of looking to the judge conveys that, "Hey, I'm on your side. Vote for me." If you match the judge's vibe, their flow, their notes, their experience level, best believe that ballot is coming your way. Vulnerability is what fosters connections and ultimately the judge's favor. You know what doesn't get the audience's favor, though? Yapping the listener's ear off. As I said before, communication is a live thing. You have to interact with the other side. Trying to speak like an essay from the first word, planning the entire conversation ahead of time, it gets you nowhere but the same place. Whenever I'm speaking to someone, my head, absolutely empty. Of my own thoughts, of course. I'm focused on what they are saying. However, if you keep your head too empty, your family might regard you as insane, but that's more of a footnote. In my opinion, to plan some of what you want to say, but don't overthink it. Right, and so, the weather's pretty sunny. Don't lie to me, you all have been in the same situation as I, yapping about the sunny weather when it is in fact 6 p.m. and raining. In all of our minds, we are really avoiding the impending doom of talking about yourself. This is where most of us get anxious, tending to overshare. My advice? Be authentically yourself. What makes you cool? Of course, don't try to act different unless you want to, sound pretentious. For example, my school's newspaper club's advisor is pretty democratic, so he had us run for president of the newspaper club. I ran, obviously, and guess who got the winning candidate? During my campaign speech, I had a few things that were pretty promising. Humor. I literally said, "I'm unemployed and I don't have a life, so vote for me. I can commit to this club." Yeah, and I got voted. Crazy how that works! And I was crazy over-prepared as well. I had a whole slideshow about me, because I'm so humble. And the now vice editor had something that stood out as well, her experience. These are the things that made us memorable to our voters, what made us stand out from the average. We didn't try to be the perfect best candidate. With a little bit of effort, we showed that we already were. Lastly, the last thing I can yap about today is do not, I repeat, do not bore the listener. It is always better to be brief. I can tell from experience because the last time I was up on this stage, I spoke for 16 whole minutes. 16! And I'll let you in on a little secret. The speech was supposed to be 10. So after my horrendously long speech, I came back down and my dad went up to me and he was like, "Are kehna kya chahte ho?" So yeah, it is better to stick to the time limit. Absolutely. To summarize, keep it short and sweet. Be vulnerable. Go with the flow. Consider your audience, be authentically yourself, and always listen to your parents. Thank you.